sciences. Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. I did forget to start the recording. So there was at that time a faculty of science which was called moral sciences. So that was existing. And well, physical is, of course, the mainstream science is still today. Historical, you see, it was also considered as a kind of a science. And psychological sciences. So the psychological sciences were also so-called, but with difference compared of today, because today psychology, depending on who you are listening to, may not always be considered as a true science, psychology. At that time, it was, and as per the word itself, psycho is for the soul, logic is for study. It was studying the soul. So psychology at that time was following a spiritualist paradigm, whilst today, and mostly since the beginning of the 20th century with Freud and so on, and others, psychology is mostly following a materialist paradigm. So soul does not exist, and all what is psyche and the conscience, for them, it's a produce of the brain without intervention of anything out of the physical matter. Okay, so typically psychology today is following a materialist paradigm. At that time, it was not the case. It was following spiritualist paradigm. And that's why Allan Kardec, in the Spiritist magazine, Revue Spirit, it was called the science psychologique, okay, of psychological sciences. And today we are still editing and publishing the Spiritist magazine with the French-speaking Spiritist movement. And we kept the title exactly as it was with Kardec, so including psychological sciences. And we several times got the remark of some people saying, why do you call psychological science? Because it has nothing to see with it. Okay, so this is why we have sometimes to go back to the context and the reality which was governing when the Spiritist magazine was created, also in 1858, but 1st of January. And at that time, yes, the psychological sciences were also encompassing the study of all the spiritualist or paranormal phenomenon. Ilzoli? Ilzoli?
Yeah. Ah, thank you. No, because we studied psychology online in this big group from Brazil, and I think 10 psychologists. They are psychology. They are with certificate was. And actually three I don't know say in English, psychiatrist. And it's very, very serious. And as we say, this Joana de Anjou, because he is Carl Jung. And we know what Carl Jung, Joana de Anjou learned Carl Jung in the spiritual life for prepare him to reincarnate. So. They're interesting because what did you say? Many psychologists they follow our study. They are not. They are don't spirits. We are all spirits. Oh, no. Because we started this 5 years ago. We studied, and we have one psychiatrist too, and she was so nice to tell us that she was Freudian psychiatrist, and she studied because she was a spiritist. She studied in the beginning, 7 years. Carl Gustav Jung. Now, I would like to say that about because I think it's in the front all psychiatrists, all psychiatric psycholog, they I think do understand that it's no material, okay, material, but they know it's not only material. So only that I would like to say. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Elzoli. Of course, today, particularly in Brazil, but more and more now also in US or Switzerland or even UK, you have more and more psychiatrists and psychologists which are also following a spiritualist paradigm. And you told the Jungian model, okay? Jung was more openly spiritualist than Freud. Freud, for him, soul or past life or stuff like that, he did not consider it. He related everything to the childness and so on. I'm not a specialist of psychology, I must say. But today, it's slowly but surely changing. So I know, yes, there is this initiative by Fabrizio and Dr. Gelson, who came to these spiritualist medical congresses several years, are following this spiritualist paradigm. So for me, clearly, it's the future. But I don't know what in France, for instance, psychologists and psychiatrists, I think you have 98 or 99% who are following a materialist paradigm. So nowadays, maybe in UK or in Switzerland, it's a little bit less, like 80% or 70%. I don't know the numbers. In Brazil, maybe even a little bit less. But okay, there is still some way to go for them to open again to the duality, which is there is not only matter in the universe, but there is also something else and different and independent, which is spirit or soul or spiritual matter or whatever, or spiritual principle or whatever they call it. Okay, Liz?
Yeah, I am not a specialist in Jung as well, but I've read some about his work. And just like other scientists of last century, he could see that there is like a unity of manifestations that are kind of similar throughout lots of civilizations, throughout time, and until today. So obviously, because of this, he starts to think a little bit more about this more spiritualist side. But getting your like question in there, Charles, about how it is in the UK, for example. According to my experience, obviously there are some professionals that are more, how can I say, spiritualists, or they can consider that there is a spiritual side. But these, I think, is more like of a personal opinion instead of being a generalized professional, like one group leading in this paradigm. No, I think in general, and I'm very comfortable to say in general here, it's very much more materialistic led. And personally, I find very funny how people can say my brain is telling me to do this, where we kind of get very popularized these sort of expressions, and people take it in really, and then it is my brain who is selling things instead of me with my mind and you know, me as a unity and like above what is material. And you know, definitely it is a more materialistic approach.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there are, in the universities where of psychiatry and of psychology, they are teaching about the soul. I'm not sure. What is today opening, and that is, by the way, the biggest challenge of spiritualism and spiritism nowadays, is to change this paradigm, to convince the people, hey, wait a moment, there is not only physical matter, this is a dogma, this has never been proven. At the opposite, a lot of phenomenon indicate that there is some other reality on top of the matter, which is also involving human being and living beings in general or whatsoever. So that is really the big change, the big revolution, we could even say, that will foster a huge progress of the science and of the humanity, because here is clearly, Kardec is clearly bringing their application to the moral sciences. Okay, so okay, a table is moving, fine, we have seen the physical effects in the medium's book. Okay, so what? So what? I will make a weight, measure this, measure the movements, the amplitudes, the frequency, or whatever, the weight of the table, or okay, but so what? The table is moving, and the table is saying, I'm a spirit here, which, and I am moving the table and giving you answers through the table, and this is the big resistance point that still is existing. Kardec did not block with that. He was immediately convinced about the reality of the phenomenon, and he went until all the philosophical and moral consequences. So that's really a big change he made, and he was helped in that because the psychological sciences, again, at that time, followed the spiritualist paradigm. Okay, they were not with the blinds blocked in the materialist paradigm, like it is majoritarily still the case today. And when we come back to Joanna de Angelis, for instance, of course, she studied psychology. Psychology, even with a materialist paradigm, is working. Otherwise, it would not exist anymore. I think we all agree on this. Even if they don't consider that there is a soul, that everything in the brain and so on, psychologists, they manage to help a lot of people, and thanks God. But extending the concept to the integral being, that we are not only a bunch of matter and cells, but we have also a soul with past life, with this, with that. And that is exactly what Joanna de Angelis is doing in this series book. I think there are something like 14 or 15 written by Divaldo Pereira Franco, to use these notions of the modern psychology and to bring the light of the spiritualist paradigm. And one consequence of this is, if by limiting in the materialist paradigm, of course you can help, but when you open, you can understand much more and you can help much more. Okay, so this is what is still to come. Even so, there are tens of thousands and even more papers published in scientific magazine with peer review and so on, with rigid protocols showing the influence of spirituality on health, on prayers, of meditation and whatever. So it is coming. It may still take a little bit of time, but it will come back. But what is important here is to understand what psychological means in the words of Kardec in the context of the mid of the 19th century, which is a little bit different than what we understand today. Okay. So Elzoli still have the hand, Rosie.
How do you like it? Yeah, thank you, my dear. You know, it is this. I think it is important to say we study that, and you and Juppie, and diseases, mental diseases. Oh, no, 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 no. But this is not so at I will be a psychologist. No, no, no. This is to help people. So many people need somebody to talk, and so when we works, and I works with me too, person, it works is to they would like be listened. They would like to talk something. They have a problem. So, but they can't. They maybe they don't know about that. They only have problems. So. Of course, if one person that say, no, I will take my life. Of course, I will talk with this person, me too much, and listen to, but have a doctor, a psychiatrist, they can take, because this is one kind of thing is that we not money. We don't be money. So there I would like to see, because to say, because I think it's very nice. I like that, because we have many keys to try to help this person. And no, only started to talk about the spiritus adultery. No. But of course, if I can ask if the person believe in God, what do you believe? But never say, I would like present the doctrine spirit. No. This is to help another side, another kind of help. So, but no, this I would like to say, how to say, I think it is justice.
Yeah, thank you, Elzoli. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, I mean, the main concern today is when a person, for instance, has mediumship and doesn't know how to control it, or if a person is even suffering of obsession or fascination with a spiritual origin. What are the psychiatrists doing right now? They are just giving some chemicals to try to control the effects, but they cannot go to the cause, because they reject even the cause, the notion of spirit, and that's clearly what has to change in order that will change. I'm confident in the near future, in order to better are in a better position to assist the people. And okay, what Kardec is also adding here. So Liz added us a comment in the chat. Thank you, Liz. But what I wanted to see here, issues involving politics, religious controversy, or social economics are forbidden. And are not. He does not say they are not advised. They are forbidden. So it's very clear. Nothing about politics, religious controversy, or social economics in this society. And this is a precaution that Kardec took at that time. It's a choice. Maybe there are some spiritists who like to involve of politics, Okay, you can do that, but not in this society. Okay, it's forbidden in this society as a choice of the people who freely join this society. But this is not forbidding people to study politics or even to mix spiritism with politics elsewhere. And why did Kardec do this? Because we know that all what is controversy, whether politics or religious, by the way, it's endless discussion, and you lose a lot of time without progressing, because controversy is typically a subject which is not black or white. You can have different interpretation, and the one who has one interpretation and another one who has another one very hardly will convince one another, and they will continue talking and so on. Let's also, when he talks about social economics, let me see, the économie sociale in French, yes, it's also the case. The manifesto of the Communist Party of Karl Marx was published in 1848, so just not even a decade, or just a decade before. So this social economy, what can we do to improve the society and so on? There were also very radically different opinions around. And in this type of debates also, there is a lot of discussion where you are losing a lot of time. So that's why the main reason why by choice they rejected, they forbid this type of issues in the society in order to concentrate more efforts on the scope, which is to study the phenomena related to spiritist manifestation. Okay, Camila?
Hi, Charles. Thank you. I was looking to Spirit, right? And I was thinking how amazing it is, because he gave an example for us, like how we can build our society, right? How they did, like a model, something to follow. So in my humble opinion, I really like these things, right? Because if we it's not, nothing is forbidden in spiritism, right? But if you involve politicians, money, or start to fight for things that are unrelated with the main goal, right? We will be dissolved, like he put you above, right? Like you lose the harmony and the focus, what thing actually matters.
Exactly. These are subjects which attract perturbations. I don't know if the word perturbation exists in English, but which are messing the thing up. And the same, for instance, in the Gospel according to Spiritism, when you read the first paragraph of the introduction of the book, really at the beginning of the book, Kardec is also very clear. He says, the Gospel is containing a lot of things, but the only thing which is interesting me are the moral teachings of Jesus, who are coming from the Gospel. History of Jesus or dogmas or these other subjects, he left aside. And to these moral teachings, love one another, do unto the other what you would like the other to do unto you, and so on. There, everyone, even non-Christians, will join and gather, because on those moral laws, everyone agrees. So that's really what we should focus on, the points on which we agree. This is what Kardec was focusing, in order not to bring more subject of division. Okay, so here it's the same. It was just a question of not willing to lose time, and it gets very quickly passionate, and this is not good for the studies. It does not help, at the contrary. Liz?
And also, as he put all these groups and the importance of practice charity, if we are putting politics, economics, whatever into it, that is going to create fractions and selection of who shall we really help. So then, you know, I think that was a very wise limitation that he put there. Let's say like this. Sorry, sometimes I cannot put my words right.
No, we understood. And I must add, for instance, the small group I'm working here in my region is we put the same into our bylaws. No politics, no religious covers. And you see, there is also another. I just told you at the beginning that Kardec was somehow friend, or he was not friend, but he was protected by Napoleon III. Okay, if he would start to talk about politics in the society, what do you and if in case in the society some people join which are, for instance, Republicans and against the emperor, what would have happened? He would have had problems. The society may have been dissolved, and then you have no study of phenomenon related to spiritist manifestation. Full stop. It's as simple as this. So Kardec it was very wise, and I think this is one of the points he changed from the first version of the bylaws until this one we are seeing here, which is already a second version. He puts this statement much stronger. Okay, because without this, maybe he would not have been protected and could not have developed the codification as he did it at that time. Okay, so that's a second argument. Okay, then it's continuing. It shall take the name Parisian Society for Spiritist Studies. Okay. Article 2. So this is the what, no the who. The society is shall be composed of the registered members, free associates, and correspondence members. Okay. So registered members are the ones who are participating, how to say, continuously engaging, paying some because they had to rent the place where they were meeting and so on. So these are the active participants, active members. The free associates, people who are with a less degree involved, but to a lesser degree, and the correspondence members, because of course at that time the meeting were presential. There was no virtual meeting, so the people who was living in Brussels or away from Paris could only go once or 2 or 3 times a year. So they were helping and contributing by correspondence and not by physical presence. Okay. It may confer honorary membership on individuals residing in France or abroad, who by their position of work may provide an important service to it. Honorary members are subject to annual re-election. So honorary members are the people who work a lot in the same scope as the society, even without being member as per the 3 categories we have seen. They can be designed as honorary member. I don't remember example of that time, but for instance, in the later on, in 1919, when they founded the French Spiritist Union with Jean Meyer and so on, one honorary member was Arthur Conan Doyle, for instance. He was not present in Paris, but as being honorary member, he was recognized by the society and gave also his acceptation for this to use his name in order to promote also the society. Okay. Okay. So Article 3, the society shall only admit individuals who sympathize with its principles and the objective of its projects. Those who have already been initiated into the fundamental principle of Spiritist science, or those who are seriously animated by the desire for instruction in it. Consequently, it shall exclude all who may bring trouble to its meeting, either through a hostile attitude or theoretical disagreement, or for any other reason that may cause a waste of time on needless argumentation. So this is also, I think, very clear. The scope is defined in the Article 1, as we have seen. So the people who come to the society must be the people who agree to this scope. If the people does not agree to this scope and comes to the society with with discussions, with objections, or with even intentions or pressurizing to change the scope or whatever, it's not fair. Huh? People acting like this are working against the liberty, the freedom of the people who selected, who made the choice to follow that scope. Okay. I give another example to make it clearer. There are people, young people or even elderly people, willing to play football. So they go to a football club. So if tomorrow someone is coming and did, no, football is not good, we should change, stop playing football and playing basketball, what's the best answer to give to him is, if you want to play basket, go to a basketball club, but please let us play football, full stop. It's as simple as this, you know, because this is happening a lot in all the spiritist society, even today. So, no, but we have to do enter in theosophy, or we have to enter in this, or some parallel practice, or whatever, you know. A lot of people who come, they went through these neo-spiritualist movements, which are hundreds around the world. So we cannot mix everything. Everyone is, of course, free to study whatever he wants, to adhere to whatever he wants, but must respect also the freedom of the people who select to dedicate to the scope which is indicated at the beginning. Okay, I have already been treated because of this. You are intolerant, you have, how to say, we cannot even discuss, we cannot even question, you know. I have been several times qualified as an intolerant because of this. Some people who came and, yeah, but reincarnation is not like Kardec is saying, it's different. I think that it is, I don't know what. I said, okay, you have the right to think whatever you want, but here, we study reincarnation as per the basis of Allan Kardec. So please let us free to study that, and don't bother us, insist in changing our mind if we don't want this. You know, it's very difficult. Sometimes you have to kick people out. It's difficult. It may be perceived as a lack of charity or whatever, but what is the good understood charity is respecting the freedom of everyone. So this is why this type of statements have to be very clear in the first paragraph or the first articles of any bylaws. Okay. So he's saying they must sympathize to the principle and objective of its project, of course, with the Article 1. They may have already been initiated in read the Spiritist book, which was the only one existing at that time, and the Spiritist magazine, or those who are seriously animated by the desire for instruction in it. So he was not putting as a condition that the people must know everything before entering. The people which were seriously animating with a will to learn were also admitted to enter, you know. And this is also explaining something else. A lot of people, they come to a Spiritist group, they are learning, and then at a given point in time, they say, hey, okay, I learned this, but this is not what I think. They change the mind, or it does not correspond to what they were looking for. And here as well, no problem. Everyone is free to come, to leave, and even 10 years later, if they understood better, to come back. This is the fulfillment, the practice of the law of freedom, which is one of the fundamental laws of the Spiritist body of knowledge. Okay. Consequently, it shall exclude all who may bring trouble to its meeting. We have seen it, Camilla said it in the previous chapter. in a mediumistic group, when you have someone with opposite ideas or someone discussing with nya 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 and so on, the meeting will not work. You have the thoughts are a reality in the spiritual world. So someone bringing contrary thoughts will jeopardize the whole meeting. So do we want these people to be free to come in and to jeopardize all the meetings? Or do we want to have a meeting with a good harmony and smoothly keep these people out of it? And that is a choice that we have to do, okay? Hostile attitude, that's even worse. Theoretical disagreement. So no, I don't agree in reincarnation, for instance. So because a lot of time, what I have seen also in a group is we read, for instance, Léon Denis or Allan Kardec to harmonize the group. After this harmonization, make vibrations. Okay. So if you read something like Léon Denis or Allan Kardec to harmonize, if you have someone coming with nya nya nya, no, I don't agree with this. I think this is not like this; it's different. I think that. Personal opinions, you will not harmonize. So this disharmony will even jeopardize the vibration, the prayer, or whatever we want to do after all, later on. So all this has to be considered, and Kardec was here. It's very concise, but it may also see a little bit severe, forbidden, or it shall exclude. There are strong words, but the understanding behind it, I think, is clear is clear now. Okay. Needless argumentation, loss of time. In French, we say discussion de bistrot. I don't know how to like pub discussions. I don't know if this exists in English. Blah 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 blah, and at the end, what did you discuss? Nothing serious, No, it's if you want a serious society, you have to have also this discipline. All members are mutually obligated to display benevolence and good manners. In all circumstances must place the general good above the personal issues and self-importance. So it looks also obvious, isn't it? But I tell you again, in the practice, it isn't. The general good above the personal issues or personal interests is what we call disinterestedness or abnegation. I think the words exist in English. The one who comes only for me, well, okay. As long as he stays quiet, why not? But I mean, in the society, if you go to participate, you have to participate to the community and not only go there in order to push only things for you and give no other contribution in exchange, This type of attitude is also not correct. Even so, it is not always very easy to detect it. Because we as humans have the disadvantage that most of us cannot read the thoughts of another human in front of us. Hypocrisy exists. In the spiritual world, it's easier because the good spirits, they see everything immediately. So their bad intentions or hidden intentions or second intentions are immediately detected, whilst on the earth, incarnated, it's not the same. And here also, now with the documents who arrived, we discovered from Kardec, there are some documents which show and demonstrate that there were some Jesuits infiltrated in the Parisian society. There were some spies of the Catholics. There were also some, of course, people from the police, which made them report to the police. This is what I have seen. This is what I have done. All this we can get now from the archives, So with all these precautions, still there were people there with other intentions. They may not have jeopardized so much the work. Nevertheless, it's interesting to know that all those type of things exist in spite of all the precautions you take. You cannot be 100% sure and secure, but at least if it's clearly written, it's clearly written. Nobody can tell I didn't know, or it was not written, it was not clear. Okay. Liz, you have the hand up. She's still from the last intervention, or do you want to? No, I see you are on mute, but you brought the hand down. Okay, good. So let's continue. What time is it? Yes, 10 minutes. Article 4. To be admitted as a free associate, the request may be made in writing to the president, supported by the signature of 2 full members who will be responsible for the intention of the postulant. So this is also a principle Kardec put there because, okay, there is someone coming. Kardec doesn't know, okay, do we admit, don't we admit? Difficult to say, huh? You cannot know everyone. So yes, that's why he puts this condition. At least 2 people who are already in must know the person and how is it? Be responsible for the intentions of the postulant. And no, he's really willing to study. Okay, so we take it, but based on your advice, you are responsible of. Huh? If tomorrow these people you indicated are messing the thing up, or the meetings or whatever, you will have your part of responsibility in order to find a way to take him out again. Huh? So that's an additional precaution he take. This request must state if the postulant already possesses an understanding of Spiritism, so what is his degree of knowledge. Second, what her convictions are concerning the fundamental points of Spiritist science. So this I saw already sometimes. Fundamental points of Spiritist science is God, existence of the soul, reincarnation, communicability, mediumship, and so on. Have a kind of a checklist, agree, adopt, or not agree. You know, that everybody should honestly, here again is the difficulty, fill in before joining. So it's a little bit this type of principle Kardec was advising here. And third, a promise or an engagement to fully comply with this regulation. So this is also, I mean, every society, when you enter in it, you must comply with the regulation. If you violate the regulation, it's a motive to exclude you from the society. Okay, like everywhere. I mean, it's we have to fulfill the law. Huh? The request shall be submitted to the commission, which, depending on the case, shall propose admission, postponement, or rejection. So these are the 3 possible answers. So it's sent to the president, but there is a commission which takes the decision, yes, wait, or no. Postponement is required for every candidate who does not yet possess an understanding of Spiritist science or does not sympathize with the society's principles. So yes, in those 2 cases, it's better to postpone. The people must, even if they come with the experience, mediumistic meeting and so on, they must be have at least the notions to understand what's happening there. Free associates have the right to attend all mediumistic meetings, to participate in activities and study groups, but will have no right to vote on administrative matter of the society. Okay, so these free associates are a kind of visitors. Okay, but they don't have the right to vote. For having the right to vote, it is for the how was the second category? Registered members. Only the registered members had the right to vote. Okay. Free associates shall only be such during the year of their admission, and permanent membership in the society must be ratified at the end of that year. Alors, let me see how this is written in French. Les associés libres ne sont engagés que pour l'année de leur admission et leur maintien dans la société doit être actif. Yes. So free associates are members for 1 year. They can renew to be free associate a second year, but it goes through a second approval. Okay. Elzoli?
I think there's Article 5. If I know, it's very, very. I think all Spirit Center, and for example, here in Sweden, we have the Spirit. I don't know in English we say Förbund. Is this
Association.
we what did you say?
Association.
Thank you. Association. When you will, of course, when I had my Leon Denis, then I have the document exactly that we have here in Article 5 and 4.2. Because I think this is not, it's not to say, no, this is not so important now is internet. No, very good if you have their documents, because it's very, very important to the future, to another new members. If, for example, in Leon Denis study group we have, a center, a spirit center, so it's a long time ago. So we have, and yes, I would like to say that because I think it's very, very important to always follow these rules. This is my opinion, but I think so.
Yeah, I think you are right. Yeah, and more to Article 5, we will stop here because it's our time already. I will hand over to Raphael, but the Article 5 says clearly this free associate is a kind of test period for 1 year to be full member. First, you have to be free associate during 1 year, and this is time maybe enough to evaluate if what are the real intention of
Exactly.
Not to let the people enter and vote immediately, because this is also a weak point. Some people who want to make who want to judge the society, he comes with 10 people being full member with vote right, and then they vote in order to change the president or whatever. This happens also a lot of time. But okay, let's stop here, and I will hand over to Raphael. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Charles. Let me just stop the recording here.